It's deep in the night, somewhere cold on a stretch you've driven 100 times, and your clock, the time you're legally allowed to drive, says 40 minutes left. The rest area you counted on is full, rigs stacked from the ramp, the highway exit lane, in. The truck stop a few miles back, filled before sunset. Your legal clock is running out, and the shoulder, the side of the road, is the only flat ground left. The only legal space doesn't exist. The only safe one doesn't either. Tonight we're counting down the 10 states where America no longer has enough room to park an 18-wheeler, bad to worst, with the real numbers and the strategy that gets you through each one. The data comes from two main sources. First, the Truck Parking Index by ATRI, the American Transportation Research Institute, and AASHTO, the state's highway association. Second, a study by a company that collects data from trucks, Geotab, of over 2 million ramp parking events a year. And when this shortage killed 3 people, the NTSB, the National Transportation Safety Board, did something it almost never does. Took a stand and demanded Congress spend the money. The state that tops this list has a rest area built for the 1970s with 21 spaces today. And 3 families know exactly what that cost. We'll get there. Let's get into it. Number 10, Minnesota. In 2019, its DOT, Department of Transportation, counted 4,846 truck spaces, and more than 85% are private. That matches the national average, about 85% private. But a private lot fills or closes on a business schedule, not yours. A driver off Interstate 94 near St. Cloud at 10 at night finds the rest area full. The Flying J truck stop's last spot was taken 20 minutes ago. A private lot next door has 40 empty spaces, but a sign says reserved for customers only. He doesn't need fuel, he needs a place to sleep. When 85 cents of every parking dollar is private, your legal stop disappears on a business decision. Nobody voted on it. Number 9. Texas moves more freight than any other state, and the math never kept up. ATRI's 2025 index gives it 7.6 spaces per 100 highway miles, bottom tier, plus the nation's worst spaces per truck mile ratio. The triangle formed by Interstates 35, 10, and 20 is a parking desert. A driver on Interstate 35 south of DFW has 45 minutes left. He passes exit after exit. The Petro and TA truck stops are already lined onto the ramp. His next guaranteed spot is probably Waco, longer than his clock. The strategy, plan by mile marker hours ahead, because I'll find something, fails exactly where the freight is heaviest. Number 8. California's problem is the same real estate math that prices everything else out. ATRI puts it bottom tier alongside Texas and Utah, with only 8.3 spaces per 100 highway miles. The land under a new lot costs so much that building one rarely makes sense, even as port traffic surges. A driver out of the Inland Empire, east of Los Angeles, checks his log at midnight. The only legal option is a paid lot 30 miles east. When he called, it had 1 spot. He doesn't know if it's still there. If you don't book ahead, you waste hours you don't have. The same math that makes California expensive to live in makes it expensive to be a truck in. Number 7. Now the emptiest ratio in the country. North Dakota scores 5.1 spaces per 100 highway miles, in last place on the ATRI index. In a state that hits 40 below for real, the shoulder isn't just illegal, it's dangerous in a different way. A driver on Interstate 94 between Bismarck and Fargo at 2 in the morning sees a temp gauge nobody wants to see, and the only rest area for 70 miles is already packed. His clock is running out, and the next legal place is an hour he doesn't have. The strategy, fuel and plan for the widest service gaps, and never treat the next one as a backup. It's one thing to lose an hour searching in traffic. It's another at 40 below, on the state with the least parking per mile in America. All right, if you made it past North Dakota's 40 below parking math, that's how I'll know who made it this deep. Subscribe, like, and tell me in the comments, which state on this list have you actually run out of parking in? Now back to it, because the worst 3 are still ahead. Number 6, Oklahoma. ATRI's index found one of the most lopsided public-to-private balances in the country, a ratio of 27.9 to 1. That means nearly 28 private spaces for every public one. ATRI's index also publishes a recommended target. The state has just 6.7 spaces per 100 highway miles, bottom tier. Let me be fair to the people who live here. The rest area system was built for a different era, and they're working on it. But the numbers are the numbers. A driver on Interstate 40 west of Oklahoma City is nearing his clock. He sees the Loves is full. The next public rest area is a concrete pad with 2 spaces, both taken. He's counting exits like a lifeline. The strategy: know which exits on Interstate 40 and Interstate 44 have public capacity before you need them. When the public safety net is that thin, one full truck stop doesn't just cost you a spot, it costs you the only real backup for miles. Number 5, Louisiana's gap is wider. ATRI's own numbers put it at the very top, a public-to-private ratio of 42.1 to 1, the single worst measured. Add 8.8 spaces per 100 highway miles, and you have a supply already thin before hurricane season. When a storm track enters the Gulf, people evacuating, fleeing, turn Interstate 10 and Interstate 55 into moving walls. Every truck stop from the state line to Lafayette fills 3 deep. A driver on Interstate 10 west of Baton Rouge in late August watches the sky and his fuel gauge. Federal grants have made money available, but the gap hasn't closed. The strategy: plan Louisiana stops days ahead during hurricane season and treat the storm track as a deadline. The state ranks worst on the index's own gap measure, the public-private imbalance. And the highways a driver needs to park on are the ones a whole state may need to evacuate on. Number 4, the Northeast's worst parking bottleneck, New York and New Jersey. New York scores 7.5 spaces per 100 highway miles, bottom tier. But look at the maintenance cost, $28,000 per space, per year. That's the highest in the country. Compare that to Wisconsin's $1,790. Meanwhile, Geotab counted over 2 million ramp events each year. Over 300,000 are long duration. Both the New York and Newark metropolitan areas rank among the 5 worst for trucks on ramps. A driver on Interstate 95 into the Meadowlands, the industrial flats across from New York City, at 11 at night, passes a ramp where 3 rigs are already lined up. The next rest area is 12 miles ahead, and he can see the line from a mile out. He's now choosing between a shoulder already full and a clock about to expire. The strategy: read the ramp as your signal to keep moving to a confirmed option, even if it costs minutes you don't have. New York spends more per space than any state and still ranks near the bottom. Proof money alone hasn't fixed it. Number 3, Indiana is spending real money to fix it and proving how big the problem really is. Geotab's data puts Indianapolis among the top 5 worst ramp parking metros. The city sits at the crossroads of multiple interstate corridors and fills every night. Indiana's DOT, INDOT, has added new facilities: 113 spaces at Kankakee in late 2023, 150 more at Boone County, starting from about 1,400 spaces statewide. And still the metro can't leave the worst 5 list. A driver on Interstate 65 southbound, 90 minutes out, knows what to expect. The Flying J on the south side will be full. The rest area north of downtown spills onto the ramp. The strategy is to park early in Lafayette, the town about an hour north of Indy, and lose an hour of driving rather than gamble on Indy. Plan your stop before you're within a couple hours of Indianapolis. Indiana is actually building its way out and still can't outbuild the demand fast enough. Number 2, and this entry is a metro, not a state. The top spot among metros, worst ramp parking in the entire country, is Atlanta. Geotab's study ranked it number 1, and every major southeast freight corridor funnels into it. ATRI's latest industry survey shows truck parking ranked second among drivers themselves, the second most cited concern. It's no surprise when one metro leads the nation in trucks spilling onto shoulders. A driver on Interstate 75 southbound at dusk, Atlanta's skyline ahead, has watched every exit for 20 miles with rigs on the ramp. His clock has 25 minutes, no reservation, and the only thing worse than parking on a ramp in Atlanta is being the last truck on it. The strategy: never plan an Atlanta approach after dark without a confirmed spot already booked. I stand by that. Measured, ranked, with Atlanta at the very top. That's not a reputation. That's the data. Number 1, Illinois. The Silver Lake Rest Area on Interstate 70 has 21 truck spaces, unchanged since the 1970s, while truck traffic on that corridor grew 300%. That means the rest area is often overcrowded. A 2018 study found the lot running at 100 to 150% of capacity, trucks regularly on the exit ramp. The next rest area is 76 miles away. In July of 2023, a Greyhound bus struck 3 parked tractor trailers on that exit ramp in the early morning. 3 people died, 11 passengers and the driver were injured. The NTSB determined the primary cause was bus driver fatigue, but the parking shortage was a contributing factor. Then the NTSB chair said something the board almost never says. The NTSB doesn't usually comment on the need for congressional funding for specific programs, so I do think this is a big deal. The crash sparked a bill with support from both political parties calling for $755 million, with 28 co-sponsors. The strategy: on Interstate 70 through Illinois, and any corridor where the state fails the recommended public-to-private ratio, treat the next rest area as a plan, not a guarantee. Stop early rather than gamble on the last legal exit. 21 spaces, a 76-mile gap, 300% more traffic, and 3 people dead. It took a federal crash board breaking its own habits to get Congress to even talk about the money. That's why it's number 1, not a ratio on a spreadsheet anymore. It's a name on a highway sign and 3 families who know exactly what an empty rest area costs. 10 states and 1 truth. America built the trucks and the freight, and never finished building the places to legally park them for the night. The defense is the same discipline. Plan the stop before the clock forces it. Know your state's numbers before you're stuck with them. Never bet on, "I'll find something." The states building their way out prove this gets fixed with dollars and will, not blame. But until it's fixed, the map in your head has to cover the gaps the highway department hasn't yet. And let me say this plain: the driver on a shoulder at midnight isn't there because he's lazy. He's there because the clock and the shortage gave him one bad option among worse ones. The men and women who move this country deserve a safe place to shut down, and we are not there yet. Now, I want to hear from the people who've been in these states at 2 in the morning. Drop in the comments the exit or the rest area, real place, real state, where you'd warn a rookie not to count on it. We read every single comment, and the best ones become the next video. If you've made it this far through 40 below parking math and rest areas from the disco era, you might as well subscribe. I'll buy the coffee next time. Until next time, keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up. Stay safe out there.